everybody. It's your girl, Sherry. Welcome back to another episode of Alleged Actually Podcast. I am joined with my Bravo Bestie Joey, and we're back. We are back to talk all things Salt Lake City Reunion Part 2. So, Joey?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
You know, I don't know. It was okay. I just feel like the season was almost like too good. Where like the reunion was never gonna like match up. And you know, it's nothing that they're doing wrong. They're doing exactly what all the reunions do. But I think we're just like gotten so desensitized or used to like, you know, mediocre seasons that like to have one like this that was like must watch TV.
Yes.
The reunion wasn't gonna meet up to the expectations, and it is what it is.
Right. It's
is. Not bad.
No, I actually am enjoying it, you know, kind of going back through the season. And then some of the questions, you know, good questions. And so it was good. Like I said, you're right. With a season like that, I mean, what are we expecting? I mean, I don't know what else the ladies could give us. They left it all on the floor. So
they literally did.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, if you are new over here, we do reality TV recaps. We also do pop culture and entertainment news. And like I said, tonight we are doing Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 5 Reunion Part 2. And we open up with the continuation of the husband still being out there. And John and Todd father are still semi on the tail end of their little spat. The whole watch your tone.
I love the Salt Lake City husbands. I must say.
Yeah.
They need to like watch themselves. Like, don't get too involved like they did on like New Jersey where they kind of like ruined like the show.
Yeah.
But they're really like enjoyable for the most part. I love Seth Marks.
I was just gonna say Seth cracks
like
me up.
I would marry Seth Marks in like a heartbeat. Like, you know, you can be in Ohio, do what you have to do. Like, I just like love that man. Love that man.
Yes, I do too. Seth is funny. He's fun. He's easy on the eyes. I'm just saying. Yeah.
But at the same time, like I long for someone like a John Barlow, just like a blind defender all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Like I would love to know, like, off the record, like, do you ever think Lisa's wrong? And hear what he actually thinks, you know, which he would never admit though. No. He's a ride or die.
He is definitely a ride or die. He is. Right, wrong, or indifferent. He's got her back, honey.
100%.
Yeah. So, anyway, they are finishing the whole, you know, watch your tone thing. And then I thought it was cute how John leans over to Seth and says, "Where's security?" Todd, you know, what I love about Todd, I have to give him a lot of credit. He gets a lot of scrutiny and backlash, but let's be clear. This man is, you know, not just anybody. He is a remarkable, big-time businessman, and he's old school. And the fact that he is lending himself to this platform in support of Bronwyn, honestly, y'all, I think it's huge. And it says a lot about his character because he don't need this. Bronwyn doesn't need this. But the fact that he's willing to give us what he's given and be open to this kind of criticism and everything.
Yep. I couldn't agree more because you're right. They don't need the paycheck.
No.
They're not here for the paycheck. And the fact that he especially, like, not only did he, like, do, like, the season, but then he came to, like, the reunion. Like, how many, I mean, Robin Dixon, girl, number one, y'all needed that paycheck. Wow. Y'all needed that paycheck. And we never once saw him at a reunion, ever.
Nope. Juan was always a no-show. And you're right. God knows they could have used the paycheck. He was just not supportive.
We never saw Juan. We never saw Jamal. We never saw like Giselle with anyone. Like there are so many husbands that choose like whatever. Not only did Todd participate, Todd came to the reunion and participated like crazy.
I know. And he did it. And you know, I remember Andy even saying to Todd, you know, good job, because I think even he was kind of like, ooh, how's this going to go? You know?
Yeah.
Todd did great. So
he did.
And then when one of the things, so they're still talking about the situation with Lisa speaking on Gwen, the whole miscarriage part of it and all of that. But Lisa made a good point. I will give it to her, which wasn't giving it to her a lot because she really, in part one, I was really like, girl, take something. But she did make a good point when Lisa, did you notice too, she simmers down some when she's talking to Todd. I don't know if it's.
She does, because I think that at the same time, like, you want to like talk crazy to Bronwyn all you want, like, you're not gonna talk crazy to Todd. Especially because I think that Lisa knows that it's gonna cause the husbands to fight. Like, let's try to like get it as good as possible, you know. But I also found that Lisa's demeanor in general in part 2 was very different than her demeanor in part 1.
Very much so. Very much so. She really pulled it back some, and the way that she articulated her point when she said that, you know, look, I understand that it could be extremely hurtful and offensive, but she told Bronwyn that you do have to realize when you say things on camera, they live on camera and they can be repeated. That was a good point. And I still don't think, and I could be wrong, this is my opinion, I didn't think that when she was talking in the after show that she was honestly trying to be malicious. I didn't think so.
No, and I brought up like that point like last time too. Like, I don't think that. Look, I thought that at the end of like part 1, where they were like both in tears and they're arguing, blah blah. They both honestly, obviously feel like really strongly about this, and I do believe that Lisa's emotion was real. I think that her issue is she then can never apologize, and all she had to say was, "That was never my intention." Which, like people said, I don't believe that was her intention to ever hurt Gwen, hurt Bronwyn, hurt Todd. That was never my intention. If that means look, I am so sorry. That was not my intent. But for some reason, she just can't get it out ever. Don't. Yeah, like, expects apologies to her all the time. Like, I don't know. But you know what? I digress. I'm still a Lisa fan, for better or worse.
You know, I am. And you know what? I thought about, because I've been seeing some stuff online about how she's kind of going at it with fans and stuff. And I'm like, ooh. But you know what? I think people don't realize sometimes. I mean, yeah, Lisa seems a little self-absorbed. And yes, we know that she has problems with accountability. But in the same breath, let's be fair. And I don't know if you saw it, but there was one of the fans in the fan groups that had said something to her about, well, to Lisa, that because she's wrinkly looking in this picture, she needs to drink more water. My thing is, and yes, she went back at her. And no, she shouldn't entertain it. But look, they're human. They're human.
Right.
And, you know, I get tired of that too. You know, that's not a badge of honor that you insulted someone that's on a reality show and they came back at you. I think that's
and like
very lame.
People are opening like their like lives to us for our entertainment, and then to like attack them, like that's insane. They're human beings. That's insane.
I am never here for that. I don't think it's cute. I'm just like, y'all, really? No. I wish people would stop that. I mean, if you have a valid critique on the show or you're commenting about something, fine. But tearing down people's looks and all that, you get what you get back. I mean,
yeah. Can we please keep the negative comments to only Margaret Josephs and Heather Gay? Thank you. You know what? And Tamara Judge. Other than that,
oh God, and Tamara. Right. Yeah. Okay, you're right. Yeah. Exceptions to the rule, okay? Yeah, I agree. Those are the exceptions, guys. Fire away at them. So after that, we had a viewer question for Angie K on why she held Meredith accountable for the gay rumors with Shawn, and didn't do the same for Whitney when she had Monica to spill the rumor on camera. Listen, even Andy was confused, and so was I. This had a whole nother life of its own. The best that I can say, Angie said that there were conversations that had happened off camera, and she can't prove it, so she's at the point now where it's kind of like, I'm gonna have to just let you have it. But for Angie to be that, you know, to hold on to that so long, because they said it's been like 2 years, there had to be more to it, because it just really didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense, but also, like, we just watched a whole season where for, like, the overwhelmingly majority of the season, Meredith and Angie were fine.
I know.
For the most part. So, like, I really don't understand. Plus, like, we're still on this storyline from like last season. Like, I just like I don't know. And my thing is like, for Shawn, you're never gonna win with Meredith.
No.
So it's not even worth to keep like stating your case over and over again or whatever. Like,
no.
Apologize if you hurt her feelings or she thought she was. I apologize if you thought I said X, Y, and Z. We got to move on because, like, Shawn, you're in a losing battle. Let me tell you,
complete losing battle. And I thought that Shawn did a really good job articulating himself, even to Meredith. On look, from my perspective, like I didn't know you like that. It just, and he looks like he's ready for it to be done. He looks shut down. That really makes me upset. It really.
Yeah. I'm happy you brought that up because he looks like a little tired of all these shenanigans. He really does. And like that poor man, like we always talk about, right? Like he didn't sign up for like the show. His wife did. And being a good husband, he supported her decision. Mm-hmm. And like he was dragged through the mud last season. Yeah, and clearly we're still continuing on this like path. And it's like so unfair to him because like, I don't know, he seems like a great guy. And like even if the rumors were true, which I don't believe that they're true at all. Even if they were, who cares? Like, move along. Like, it's not your life. It's not your business. He didn't sign up for the show. It's crazy.
Crazy.
However, we did get a treat. We got the unhinged Meredith Marks at a reunion, and you know how I feel about an unhinged Meredith Marks.
Yes.
My favorite part of Salt Lake City.
Yes, honey. Yes.
She was unhinged.
She was completely unhinged, and it was all about this whole stuff with the Shawn rumor. And for her, it was like, look, they said it multiple times. Monica said first that she said it, and it wasn't clarified that the she was Meredith, but that's what was implied. Then she doubles back and says, nah, Meredith didn't say it. I heard it in the Salt Lake City streets. Let me tell you something else, y'all. For all of y'all that think that Monica Garcia does not need to be there, God knows she played a huge portion of part 2 of the reunion. I mean, we were Monica to death, were we not?
She played, I felt, a big part of like this season, and she wasn't even there.
Yep.
They brought her up time and time and time again. And these women, though, they love to use her for a storyline, and they love to use her however they see fit.
Yeah.
So Angie kept saying, like you said, well, she said it, implying Meredith, blah, blah. But last season, we learned that y'all think that she is a toxic, manipulative, compulsive liar.
Right.
So, but then when it's convenient for you to believe her with that one sentence, you are going to die on that hill. It can't be both ways. You got to pick a lane.
I agree. And there was chatter on that couch. Heather kept trying to, she was trying to inflict herself. That was annoying. That couch needed a meeting.
Don't get me started on Heather because this whole part, I felt like Heather kept trying to insert herself because nobody was talking to her. Nobody was talking to her. Nobody was talking about her. She could have not been in this season, and it would have been just as great. She served absolutely no purpose there this season.
None whatsoever.
No one even talked to her.
No, but she was trying. She was trying to insert herself from that couch every chance she got. You'd hear her, and Andy was just kind of like, yeah, not a good look.
No, her time Meredith might be over.
I hope so.
No, they already said that they signed everyone.
Yeah,
why? We hate her. Well, I hate her.
Yeah, Andy. I don't know. I think he's a little annoyed by Heather sometimes too, but I don't see her going anywhere. I don't. And like we already know, they've all been asked back. So
I know.
To include Brittany.
Yeah, thank God we got her again. I don't know. I mean, I guess she made for some funny scenes. She's a little.
She honestly did. Like I said, I did give her that. Yeah. I mean, listen, we shall see. I'm here for a little bit more of some more Mary Smackdowns and Brittany. I love that. So I'm down for some more of that.
I know. I still want to start a campaign, though, that we should get Monica back.
I think we should. I think she should come back. I honestly do. I think it would make for an even better season. You mix in everything that we had season 5, what started off in season 4, because Monica brought that back. And then let's bring it all full circle in season 6. I would totally be here for it.
If you want to talk about her the whole season, might as well let her be there.
I concur. And Monica has been chiming in from the sidelines a little bit, saying,
Of
listen.
course she is.
Of course. If y'all can let them say, you know, this, that, and the third, and you all came at me for the little things that I said, and they can get away with this, she's right. She's right.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Bravo, where's her paycheck?
Yeah. Absolutely. I'd be here for it. But more of the same. Meredith talks about how Angie talked about her home, how Angie talked about her marriage, and about her businesses, and Angie shared back that you've all done the same. And, you know, he was like, well, she's like, talked about your home. Yeah, that my home's a rental or a B&B. And they were like,
it is.
Isn't it? It is. She was like, yeah, you know, I live there 6 months out of the year. And Andy's like, so what? It's a rental. So, yeah, but she meant it in a nasty, negative way.
I mean, she definitely did. But at the same time, like, I don't know, it's a fact.
It's a fact. And I mean, last time we checked, I mean, the fact that you stay in Salt Lake only 6 months, I'm kind of starting to see a trend that some of them, they're not full-time Salt Lake City residents. So conveniently, maybe, you know, I would rent. I mean, if I'm only there for half the year, why? I mean,
to be on this like TV show, on this like platform, like why not? I mean, look what it did for, I'm sure, like her business. Not that her business like needed it, but look what it did for like her son's business. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm a proud owner of Brooks Markswear, you know? Like,
I love Brooks Marks. Yeah.
I didn't even know who Brooks Marks was before like the show.
Yeah. So I mean,
know what? You rent away, Meredith. You rent away.
Rent, and don't even worry about it, honey. Rent the best places you can find with the best bathtubs, child.
Yep.
So then we get a viewer question that asks, why did Meredith expect an apology from Shawn when she did the whole leverage Brooks' sexuality so that she wouldn't receive extra scrutiny about the false allegations that she made about Shawn? So we back to that. For that one, to me, she was crazy because she was like, look, you guys need a vocab lesson on leverage. It means use for the maximum advantage. And I'm like, well, then that's what you were doing. So why were you giving them vocab lesson trying to disprove?
I just like don't care about any of this situation, if I'm being honest. Like,
it's stupid.
It's so stupid, and like Andy was getting like annoyed with it because Meredith again was totally unhinged, and you were not getting her off that topic.
Could not. And the fact when she got up and threatened to leave, and poor Seth was like, "Are we leaving? Are we not leaving? Are we leaving?"
Yeah.
They came.
Again, though, I feel like it's a very similar situation to the Bronwyn and Lisa thing, like. All Shawn had to do, again, though, when Meredith's unhinged, who knows if it would make a difference. That was not my intention. I didn't mean for it to come out that way. I apologize if you felt that way. Because at the end of the day, like, you were talking about her son, and I don't care if the podcaster was, like, leading you in or not. You say, you know what, I'm really sorry. I'm not talking about someone else's children.
Right. Exactly. But I am learning, and, you know, we had this last week. I mean, this is like the past year. This is big time for podcasters. I'm just saying, y'all. Listen. They are getting time.
They are like featured actors now in these like shows. It's unreal.
Unbelievable. I happen to be watching, and this is off topic, ADHD moment or ADD moment.
Bring it on.
Yeah, the fall of Diddy. Tisa Tells. Her platform is largely about talking about all the Diddy news, and she was in the documentary. I was like, good for you. I mean, listen, I am not mad. I aspire. Me and Joey are going to keep on until we get this step right. I'm just saying.
Until the day we are on Watch What Happens Live.
Yes, listen. We are speaking it into existence.
That's right.
Y'all heard it first, okay?
I don't care if we bartend.
I don't know. I could care less. I make them mean whatever they want, child. I'll mix it up. I'll do whatever, honey. Yes.
Yeah.
Just let me in that clubhouse. Yes. Us in the clubhouse.
But it's true. And I think about like you figure like now, like, right, Up and Adam was a huge part of the season of Salt Lake. We have all the Melissa's old nose stuff with like Jersey. I mean, really, these bloggers and podcasters are just like making their marks on these shows. And the thing that's funny is like, it's no harm to them. These women are thirsty for it.
Oh my God, they love it.
It's crazy. They do. They love it, and they can't stop themselves.
They can't stop themselves. I couldn't believe even Alexander Rogers, who had the moment at BravoCon when he asked the question about Teddy, about them, why didn't when Kyle was bad because Derek. And I'm
Kyle, why do you keep shoving Teddy down their throats? Yeah.
Yeah. And I got a clip. I was like, dang. So listen, it is a great time to be YouTuber, podcasting, whatever. It's a great time, y'all. It is. I was like, good for all of y'all. Hey. So they, we get past that. We get all past the little that and shout out to let me see, the podcaster was the Velvet Rope, I think. I want to always shout him out. I think that was the one.
That was the Shawn conversation one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That one was with, I think that was from the Velvet Rope podcast, if I'm not mistaken. So I just wanted to shout him out. And so then we get into they talk to Justin and John about their fight at the mom's wife party. And John apologizes. I guess there was 2 incidences, and the one where he got so aggressive when at that time Justin was just leaning in, trying to find out what exactly did she lie about. So they apologize for that. Then we get into, Lord knows, poor Shawn. I feel like I need to skip something. He's had enough. The whole circle jerks thing, and Lisa explains she meant it as an analogy, which actually, yes, I just don't know why she had to go there. There was so much she could have got Whitney and Justin on if she wanted to retaliate. It just, to me, made no sense to throw poor Shawn in there and Angie when this was between Whitney and her. So y'all bring it
didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense. So they're just trying to, at this point, Andy's kind of wrapping up like all of the different beefs that they were having while the husbands are out. Lisa did apologize and say that she in no way believed that to be true. She literally was just trying to make a point and using it as an analogy.
Which, you know what? We love a Lisa apology.
Yeah, definitely. And she even said, I don't believe that to be true. Look, I apologize. I was here for it. Because that's
so was I. And the same thing where Whitney apologized to John.
Oh, love that. Yeah.
Like that's what we like want to see.
Yes.
Like, take accountability. It's not that hard to say you're sorry. I say I'm sorry 100 times a day for like stuff I do like wrong,
Totally agreed. And that's one of the great things about the reunions. The little things like that are lingering out, that they had beef with, is good when they get a chance to hash it out and legitimately get those sincere apologies so that they can be wrapped up and we can move on,
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. So from there, the only other thing I will say about that, and I hope that they all are more mindful, is that Angie did bring up the fact that their daughter, Electra, was trolled because of that comment. And so I do hope moving forward that they do try to think and be more mindful because, they have kids. And listen.
But like the number one rule should always be those. Don't talk about the husbands. Don't talk about the kids.
That's right.
Because that whole segment, right? We would have had nothing to talk about.
That's right.
If you had never talked about Brooks, if you had never talked about Gwen, if you had never talked about Shawn, if you had never talked about whatever, we don't have to talk about. Stop talking about each other like that.
Agreed.
Tear each other to shreds. Y'all sign contracts. You know what Housewives is. You know what you're here for. The rest of it, like especially like the kids, like come on.
Agreed. It's just nasty work, and they need to stop it. All right, and then let's see. We had. Oh, this was silly. I'm just going to wrap up the husband segment. Well, not yet. So there was a viewer question with Justin not sticking up for Whitney when Seth called her a biatch. But let me just say, he said in the moment, because he had just committed to staying out of the drama. And then when he looked at it again, because the whole time, what was so funny, y'all, was her face when they were talking about it. When you go back to the clip when they were at the dinner and it happens, Whitney just, but he said when he watched it again, it did come off as aggressive. And Seth also did apologize.
I thought it was funny.
It was so funny to me. And honestly, it wasn't to me like he was calling her a bitch. It was kind of like
think so
boom
either.
in your face. You know what I mean? And he says that that's kind of his thing. Like he'll see John out and be like, "What's up, biatch?" I mean,
I say that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, silly and yeah.
It's never meant to be like rude or aggressive. It's funny and I don't know. And like also like Whitney, like not for nothing. Like I mean, Seth apologized. Love that for him.
Yeah.
But Whitney, if you didn't insert yourself in someone else's problem, you would have never been involved in the first place. So you know,
there's that. Absolutely. And then the other piece that we have, and I really want to get your take on this, Joey, is when they talked about the emotional affair with Todd. Now, you know, a lot of people say Bronwyn totally backpedaled that, and she did.
Do you really feel like that?
I do, not because of what Heather said, because I mean, I know Heather was trying to hop in there and say, you know, come on. But at that moment, she was upset. And, you know, it did seem like she was really trying to get them to understand. I understand how she explained it, but to me, it seemed like she made more of it, even to the point where she was upset that it didn't seem like Meredith or Lisa was on her side and defending Todd. So in that moment,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, even if it was just to garner some support from the women and to feel, you know, validated and seen by the group, because she does have an issue with that. She spoke on that about feeling, you know, not seen or I can't remember the exact word she used.
Yeah, like not good enough.
Not good enough, right? That in that moment, I felt like she was trying to garner some support from them or whatever. I think what happened when she looked back, that, you know, because Todd didn't even see it, we find out.
Yeah, I do know what you're saying in like that respect. Mm-hmm. I think that like her major point was, this is why I act this way with the group. I don't ever feel like I fit in. I don't ever feel like I'm good enough. Here's a prime example. And it did fly off the rails a little bit with the Todd thing. I think I took the reunion more as they kept being like, oh, like he had infidelity. She was like, I said it was emotional. And thank God Angie was there to back her up. She said emotional affair.
Yeah. Definitely.
What kills me about this scenario, though, was like, again, I feel like I always nitpick like the same people, but Heather, why do you care so much about Bronwyn and Todd's relationship? You have nothing going on in like your own life. Like, I just like she drives me mad.
She does. I feel like in some regard, I will say that I think she gets triggered by stuff like that because it takes her back to her own stuff, but it's not about her. And that's a natural thing. I mean, I get that, but it comes off as, yeah, I want a moment. But she did, and what she did say, and I'll have to give it to her, she did rally around Bronwyn. I mean, that's when she got in there and was real supportive. And I think that from Heather's perspective, she thought, you know, like I was really supporting you and building you up, and then only for you to dial it back and make it seem like it was not a big deal anyway. And then I had to give it to Lisa and Meredith that was making the point that if it wasn't a big deal, then why then would you be upset with me and Lisa when we didn't, you know, speak ill of Todd? Because now you're kind of backing off and saying, no. I mean, did I think because I think when they flat out asked her about it, she said, I felt like the conversation went further than it should have, that whoever he was talking to.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that I really didn't think about, the whole like Lisa Meredith part.
Didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense.
No, other than she was upset that Lisa wasn't being a good friend to her. And at that point, she was simply trying to garner some support from the ladies. And I'm sorry, Bronwyn. I love you down, girl. But that one seemed like,
do you believe that Todd didn't see it, though? Because last part one, did they not say that they were watching it together and they feel like the relationship was better because of it?
Yeah.
So you just missed that one episode, or you just skipped over like that one scene? Like, I don't know. Seems a little fishy.
It does. It does seem like it. I felt like Bronwyn was very much protecting Todd too. And that Todd seemed very remorseful for whatever it was.
Oh, I thought he was gonna like cry at one point.
He looked like he was. Did you see how she leaned back and said, "You're okay. You're okay."
Yeah. I mean, again, like for a businessman like that, this like, you know, money making executive, whatever, to be vulnerable enough to do the show, be on camera, come to the reunion, really like leave it all on the table, show emotion, like, dude, kudos.
I agree.
Kudos.
I agree. Very, very sincere, very checked in to what was going on. And to me, it was honest and it seemed real. And that's from the husbands. I mean, particularly, like I said, the way he was portrayed, or the way he came off in the season, it was good to see him in that light. So
I agree.
Yeah. So, and she did mention her ring that she got with the 5 diamonds for the 5 promises, which was support, love, fidelity, taking care of Gwen, and Brahma had to remind him of the 5th one, which was transparency. So, after that, Andy goes back to Whitney and her inference that Meredith, Lisa, I don't care about that. We already talked about that, about the fact that they sided with Todd. We already pretty much addressed that.
Yeah.
And we also addressed the fact that he got emotional when Andy said, how did it feel that Gwen was the one that caught him texting, you know, and he got really shaken up on that. So then it was a thing about Bronwyn, Angie saying how Bronwyn had opened up more and she feels like she knows her more with all that she's given on the season, how she's, you know, let them into her lives versus Lisa. Angie doubled back to when she said, when I saw how upset you were, Lisa, you know, I felt bad. But it was just that Bronwyn had been so forthcoming and had given them so much. And Mary interjected in there that's why people loved her so much. And that's why she was a fan favorite. Did you see Lisa's face?
Oh, yeah. Well, I talked about this like last week. I don't care. You cannot convince me that the way that they came in hot for Bronwyn, and we talked about this even like when Bronwyn, or when somebody, I forget who it was on Watch What Happens Live, and they said, who has the most to answer for? And they said Bronwyn, and we were like, that's weird. Like, what? They came in with an agenda to go after Bronwyn out of pure jealousy. And you cannot convince me otherwise. They are mad. She was the new girl in town, the fan favorite. They can't handle it. So we're going to just attack this reunion.
Yep. I agree. I mean, they can't take it from her. I mean, Bronwyn is solidified. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. So, nice try, ladies. And then the other thing was about Todd not liking Vita tequila. And Lisa says she's going to give him a training course. Todd said he was willing to give it another chance, and we move on.
I've never had it. Have you?
Never. No.
I don't even know if they sell it. I don't even know if they sell it up here.
I don't think, you know what? I don't know. I'll have to ask next time I go somewhere. I don't think I've ever seen it, and I don't know. I'll have to ask. I'm not a huge tequila person, but I would try it just to see.
I mean, I would like to try it.
Yeah, I'll try it. Won't hurt. Then Andy goes into the status of Seth and Meredith's relationship because Seth is in Ohio a lot. And Meredith basically said, despite what Angie, Whitney, and Heather
think,
I know. But that they're monogamous, they don't cheat, they love each other, they have this beautiful marriage that sometimes has bumps in the road, like any marriage, which I agree. I mean, anybody that's married, it is not all sunshine and roses every day. Basically, Seth looks at it as, an annual review on their marriage. As long as it's above average, 51%, it's good. He highly recommends commuting because it feels like
51's a little low to be that'd be like your goal.
I thought so too, because I even saw Meredith's face kind of be like, 51%, homie. That's But his point was it works for them. So I mean, and then Todd kind of jumped in there and said, same for him and Bronwyn.
Love that Todd came to Seth's defense.
Me too. So there was that. And then Andy asked, or I think a viewer asked, did he have a side chick in Ohio? Apparently, y'all, his side chicks are his hands.
I love that. He was like, I have 2 side chicks.
I know. I mean, and that's fun-hearted Seth. I really love that. So
love him.
Yes. That was a segment on the husband. So they, Andy tells them thanks. He especially shouts out Todd for doing a great job. And did you notice how Bronwyn asked Todd to hold back until John
jumped up real quick? Let John leave first.
Yes. They had squashed it at this point, but honey, I guess she wasn't taking any chances.
Plus, what do you think's gonna happen? They're gonna go to blows?
No. I thought that was weird. She was like, I mean, y'all got a little spicy. I was like, they did, but I mean, clearly it seemed like they were past it. One thing I love about the men, they get together, they talk it out, and they go about their business. Now, it's the women, we can just talk something down to the last compound. It just is what it is. So now, y'all, we have Mary's segment, and he talks about how she went from, having to be pried out of the Sprinter van to zip lining her way into our hearts with her great friendship with Angie and I guess her new love of beer. And then
champagne of beers, nonetheless.
Right. Nonetheless, I mean, Mary, honestly, this was a good season for her. She really we got a chance to see her for who she really was, the good side, her redeeming, I won't even say redeeming quality. I just think before she didn't feel as comfortable to let her walls down. And I thought it was great to see her open up and let us into her life and love. And I know me and Joey say it all the time, but we love the friendship between her and Angie.
Oh, obsessed.
Yeah, totally. Of course, they do the talk flashback with the struggle she had with Robert Jr. That was an emotional segment.
Every single, I shouldn't say everybody, there was one person that wasn't crying, and that was so awkward.
It was very awkward.
So, I mean, obviously, we're going to get into it, but Meredith just had this, stern look on her face that was so awkward, and the camera kept panning to her as everyone else is crying. Lisa's crying, Heather's crying, Angie's crying.
Yes.
Bronwyn's crying. Poor Whitney. She was like a puddle. She couldn't pull it together.
She was.
She was doing the kickback,
was.
And then there's just Meredith, which is nothing.
Yeah. That was a lot. And you're right. And it didn't help that the camera just kept panning and you're looking are you serious?
Again,
yeah.
Girl, that is one of your really good friends. What's going on here?
I know. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
But Andy talks about how he's never seen via Twitter X and all that, just so much of the outpouring of love. And Mary says she really felt it. And he asked her kind of what she thought of it, and she said it just made me feel like our mission was accomplished, which we come to find out that her and Robert Jr. planned to have that conversation and be filmed. Now, no one knew where it was going to go or how, but they did agree to do the conversation. And the fact that it was so, he was honest about what he was taking, how he was feeling, um, ideologies of, unaliving himself and all of those things. It did, like she said, their mission was if it could help at least one person, then their mission
It
was to
had
help.
to have helped more than that. Because you talk
Oh,
about like how even like, Heather said that she watched it with her kids. Whitney watched it with her kids.
mm-hmm,
And just that it like opened up like conversations like in general, I
mm-hmm.
think that that in itself is like huge,
It was
It
huge.
was just so brave. It was like we talked about previously. It was probably like the rawest scene I've ever seen in any Housewives franchise like, ever. It was incredible, Kudos to Mary, kudos to Robert Jr. for agreeing to have the conversation on camera. And I thought to be put on the spot like that with like your child and to have a camera there, it's going to be on TV. And the fact that Mary did not miss like one beat and handle that conversation way better than I probably ever could off like the cuff.
Me too.
God bless.
She said all the right things, all of the, it was so beautifully done. And they made mention, and I agree, that Robert Jr., and I think it was Andy that might have said it, despite even being in a looking like a compromised position, meaning that, at that time he was perhaps under the influence, how well he even brought out how he was feeling. I think that he was a mouthpiece for how some others feel but can't seem to articulate it, inside how they're feeling. I just thought, which was a great point, both of them were so open, and it seemed as if they forgot the cameras were there, and it just it I know it helped a lot of families, because it's in this day and time, those conversations need to be had, and it's affecting so many homes, and so it was so important. And I kudos again. I can't say enough about how brave and great they both were, and I loved how Andy got emotional on the statement that he made. That he felt like a stain, and that is hurtful. For a parent to hear their child when you've put so much into making sure that they have all the things, and most moms, probably moms and dads, were thinking, I'm thinking, yes, I feel you. Y'all, when I was watching, I text Joey and I said, if I couldn't love Mary anymore, when she talked about how, yes, that did bother her because she had tried to do so much to give him the things that she didn't. One of which, they moved to New York so that he could go to school where it was more diverse.
Yeah. Her story was great, actually.
It was great, and I resonate. I don't think we talk about stuff like that enough. She grew up a lot of times being the only African American in her class. Even the story she said about they would watch movies on slavery and everybody would be looking. I'm like, girl, yeah. That's a real thing. When you grow up in areas that aren't very diverse, and it's not uncommon. And so now I get what she was saying, why she made sure that he had that and how she puts into him. And it even makes me understand some of her quirks sometimes. Like, I get it because, it's a similarity. So again, one more thing that she added out about herself. And I thought, okay, all right. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It was definitely like impactful to hear. To uproot like your life because you want him to be in a more like inclusive environment, like that's something that I was like, I've never dealt with. I never would really think about, but it makes sense. And again, like talk about selflessness, right? Like she gave her life for this kid, obviously,
Right.
And their relationship is great. And she follows up that, he's doing great. And like, so happy to hear that,
amazing story. Thankfully, the way that it ends, now we find out he did his 30 days in rehab, and her only concern, of course, is when he came out. They do tell you you're supposed to change people, places, and things, and she alludes to the fact that he doesn't have the same friends, but he may, and that he does go to. She said AA. I would think it would be NA, but either A would be fine. And that he's getting support from folks in that program as well. So looks like, thankfully, that he's on a good path. Also, Andy brought in, what did Robert Sr. think about all of that? Because
I thought he was missing in action.
Me too. Because I was like, well, that's a good point. Where was he in all of this?
I mean, we didn't even hear his name this season. Not like one time.
No. Which, I get maybe that he didn't like the way he was portrayed on the show as well. I mean, God, there was a lot of scrutiny just behind how they are together.
That poor man.
Yeah. So I get it. I just thought with what was going on, we would have seen something, but
I agree.
Understandable if he didn't want to be. It wasn't that he wasn't around. He just wasn't on camera, I guess. So, but he did say that he thought that Mary handled it beautifully. That, she was an amazing mother. Gave her all the compliments and things. And she says that he doesn't typically do unless he truly means it. So, I mean.
That one hit me in the heart when she got emotional about that.
Yeah.
Where he said that he was like proud of me and he doesn't say stuff like that often. And when he says something, he says it because he means it. Like, oh.
Yeah. So it was great. And he asked Angie how she felt that Mary confided in her. And she said that she felt honored that she would share that with her. Now, keep in mind, all these conversations, they do every so often pan to Meredith's face, who is still
Which
giving.
is like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, though, you're panning to Heather, who's crying. You're panning to Bronwyn, that's crying. You're panning to Whitney, that has turned into a fountain.
She's
a
shell of herself, poor baby.
She is now turned away from everyone, looking at like a camera crew, and is just uncontrollably sobbing. I wanted to like jump through like that TV screen and just like give her like a hug. Like, girl, it's okay.
I know. And then we find out though with her, that she has not spoken to her father since season 1.
Which is crazy. And that makes me feel so bad because, I mean, really, she put a lot of her life on hold to take care of like that man. We saw it with our own eyes.
We did. And I felt bad for that. I think that Whitney, she gets on my nerves sometimes, but I think she's horribly misunderstood. I definitely think that her heart is in the right place the majority of the time. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Joe? You're looking like
Cause like I've always been like, Whitney, I thought that like this season, I thought that she was very different. I thought that she was less messy than we're used to seeing. Yeah. I felt like maybe because like everyone else was like so crazy the whole time that when she was like say stuff, I'd be like, do I agree with Whitney? Yes. And I have like this like coworker of mine, Erin, and we like always are texting about like specifically like Salt Lake City. She only watches Salt Lake City and like New York, and I'm trying to work on her, but it is what it is. Yeah. And I'm like, girl, am I agreeing with Whitney? And she was like, I was just gonna text you. I'm agreeing with Whitney too. Like, this cannot be. But I feel like she was a much different person this season.
Yeah.
She wasn't so messy. She wasn't all up in all this drama. Like, she was like seeing things clearer. I don't know if like her home life's different and she was like more balanced or whatever. Maybe her healing journey like is like working. I really like don't know. I thought she was a much different person, and I dare I say I like enjoyed her this season like a lot.
I did.
It's been 4 seasons of me not enjoying her, so
I agree. I saw definitely she has some great insight as to what she was witnessing. When she would make comments on like things that were happening and her takes, some of them are really spot on. She just seemed very, so I'm like, maybe the healing journey is really, I agree.
Hey, kudos. I hope that we continue to see growth from her because I don't want to go back.
Me neither. No, I can't. No, we can never go back, please. But yeah, so she talks about that. And of course, Angie talks about her mom. because Andy asked, how did that impact that? But I thought it was really sweet that she said that Mary said something to her that she'd never heard in her 43 years, that about her mom. If her mom could do it all over again, she knows that she would do it different. And it sounds like something so simple to us, but for her to hear it and maybe truly believe it, because I'm sure Mary does have a very, she's very, I won't say just maternal. It's the pastor in her too, I guess. It does come across. She says things with a very loving, calm spirit. Sometimes that makes you, she does have that gift. I have to give it.
I think so too. I mean, I don't know whether or not that whole church thing, how like legit it always was. Although they did talk about how they redid the church and they've had some services there. And I thought, so we haven't heard about the church at all since apparently it like closed.
You know what? The last thing I heard was that it had closed. So I was surprised when she said they talked about that, the renovations, and that she'd actually had preached some sermons there. And I'm thinking,
yeah, but what? I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll hear about more of that like next season. But I do feel like you are right. She does have that in her when she speaks.
She does. It's good. And I mean, when she's on and she's doing that, apparently she's done that for Angie. She's done it for Heather, different ones. So, I mean, that's good, So then we get into Angie and Mary's friendship, and Andy asked the ladies if they were surprised by Angie and Mary's close friendship. Of course, Heather has to be the one that acts like she's the voice.
Because no one's talking to her this whole episode because she's brought nothing to the season.
I know.
So interject when you can, Bay. Otherwise, you'd be silent.
She did. She was saying, that she was happy to see it, that it showed, the actual good side of Mary that, they all get glimpses of at times. And Angie seems to bring that out of her. Andy talks about how Mary was lighter and more engaged and this season, and why. And Joey, you called it. I want to say it was maybe early in when we were capping, and you said, I think that Mary is, more checked in because she's got a support system in Angie, and that's pretty much what she said. So you had it right. You did. I was like, that's what Joey said. Yeah. She says that having that friend gave her the support she needed, and that made her really clock in. And clock in she did. So
yeah, which then this is the moment where I was like, pan to Meredith now. Meredith now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Andy's like, I'm not trying to be messy, but I'm thinking, yes, you are, Andy.
Yes, you are, girl.
Yeah. She's like, did you not feel that you got that with your friendship from Meredith? And, the whole time Meredith's like, her response makes sense. She said that, she loved Meredith. They did have a friendship. It was just different.
Her response was perfection, I thought, to be honest.
Perfection. Just saying that, look, she's a very busy woman, but, she does check in and talk to me. She's a good friend, but it was just different. And that's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Yep. At first, when she paused, I was like, oh, no.
I know, because what can come out of her mouth sometimes. You never know.
But it was. And she was like, Meredith's a beautiful person. Meredith's a great friend. I got emotional when she kept texting me and checking up on me. I know it was like sincere. She meant it. She's a busy woman. Angie was physically here. Meredith was not.
Right. And that makes perfect
sense.
It does. So I think that was a great response. And Meredith does say that she wishes that Mary had have allowed her to be there for her more, and said that
she felt what, Ohio?
I know. I don't know.
Like,
I think she meant when they were filming, like when she told Angie, and she didn't say anything to her. And if you remember the scene when Mary showed up at the trip late, and you could see kind of Meredith asking the question, like she wanted to get more from her. And Mary was kind of like, I'm here now. It's fine. And you see Meredith has this inquisitive look on her face, like, I know there's more to it, but Mary didn't give her anything else. And I think she meant maybe like while they were filming, why didn't she want to confide in her too?
But I also think like in like that scene, it'd be different. I think that if Meredith was alone with her.
True.
You know what I mean? She does people, Angie or Meredith, or my gosh. Meredith doesn't get along with Lisa like that. She doesn't talk to Heather like that.
No.
You know? So at the same time, it's just different. And unfortunately, like I said, like Angie was physically there. So it probably not to discredit Meredith's relationship with you know, but it is gonna be different. It is gonna be stronger.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. So that was basically that. But like you said, Mary gave her flowers and said she was good. And they showed the text that Meredith sent her, where she was talking about her nephew had been through it, and you know he would definitely speak to her and help her in any way he was happy to do so, which Mary deeply appreciated and loved. And she gets up and basically, asks her for a hug, and I think they got the Twitter comment, the question from Colin on Twitter, said he thinks that Meredith is jealous of Mary and Angie's friendship. She maintains that she's not. And then they talk about Mary's brunch and was that the breakdown of their friendship, which this is the part what I didn't understand. So I'm going to need your help here, Joey. But Meredith says that, it wasn't necessarily a breakdown. They just both had a lot going on. She felt attacked at the brunch. And then they talk about her bangs. And she was like, I don't care about y'all making comments about the bangs. But
yes, you do.
Yeah. You do. She was like, yeah, it's the nasty comments that the other ladies have said. And then she gets out her phone, honey, in her notes section on her iPhone. And she says her list of things that everyone has said about her, that she's been called a drug addict, bulimic, cheater, homeless, mentally unstable, next level psychotic dissociation, multiple personality disorder, snitch, liar, made fun of her appearance, made fun of her hearing aids, insulted her as a mother, said she was a grudge holder, a whore, and she played the victim. Those were only the ones that she could remember. Oh my God. I was like, and then you could see the ladies just kind of like laughing. I mean, it was crazy. And Angie basically was like, well, what did you say about others? And she was like, nothing like that. Then they go back and play where she calls Whitney a monster. She said Angie was like an animal, like a pit bull coming for her. She called Angie an ugly human being. And we all know, honey, she called Brittany vile. So Angie told her, look, Meredith, you go low. And then we get to the viewer question. This is what I wanted to ask you about, Joey. So someone asked Meredith how she thought Mary used her for 3 years. And when Mary wasn't the one that talked about her marriage and never said anything about her son. When did Meredith say that Mary used her? Which apparently she said it.
So, yeah, like I didn't get that either. I don't recall her ever saying that, nor do I feel like those were like the optics. I don't know. I feel like if Meredith is jealous of the relationship between Mary and Angie, it's not that she's actually jealous. She's jealous of the optics of it on television.
Yeah.
Is what I would see more than anything else.
Yeah.
If Meredith did feel that way, the only thing I could think of was that, right, they're filming the show. Mary's not really close with anybody else. So did she like rely extra on Meredith in those group scenes because she really wasn't close to anybody else? Like, I don't know. It's the only thing I can really think of, but I don't feel like that at all. I feel like that was like a genuine friendship too. I mean, they were super close, like they're still close. So I really don't know what we're talking about. Like Plus, I just feel like Meredith's like such an easy target, and people just like go after her all the time because she makes it easy. Yeah. But she's just unhinged and doesn't bite her tongue for anyone. And more power to you, Meredith. Like,
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
I'm a huge Meredith Marks fan, so I
am too, honey. I am too. I am here for all of it. They basically, like you said, you could tell Mary's a bit offended. She kept saying, how did I use you? How did I use you? More of what you said, it was just seeming like Meredith was the one that she would film with and that she was closer to, but she didn't think that she used her. So she apologized. Mary wanted that say I didn't do that, which she did. She did. And that's when
and that's how you know Meredith cares, because she would not apologize or say anything.
No. Ain't that the truth? Right. And she gave that to her right away. No, you're right. No, I don't think that. Yeah. So and that's when Mary got up and asked her for the hug. It was really sweet. And that's pretty much, Mary makes the comment that Meredith's boobs are smaller, and Andy's like, you don't remember she got them reduced. I just thought that was so funny, because that is so very Mary. That's pretty much how it closed, y'all. Next week, Brittany's going to hit the couch. So I know, or actually this week. So yeah, this week she'll be hitting the couch. Part 3 is Wednesday night. So
I mean, it should be good, because I feel like as much as we talk crap about her, for a friend of, she really brought some drama this season.
She did. I'm looking forward to her making her appearance on the reunion and seeing what all that's giving, because there's plenty that they can say. I want to get to, I know they're going to get to the recording thing and all the stuff with Jared and all that. So, I mean, I think it's going to get, and we see more of emotional Lisa again in part 3. She was pretty chill in part 2, and a little more of Lisa and Whitney. And I surely hope that they can burn what they need to burn.
I don't even know what we're fighting over anymore.
I just told you, I really think that Whitney, for some reason, just does not feel heard by Lisa, and it is wearing her out. She wants her moment, and she wants Lisa to really hear her and understand. And I think that she's genuinely sorry. So maybe they'll get a chance to rehash, and then they really will get to the moment where they can apologize and hear each other. Because that is what Whitney is screaming for. She does this whole, I want to do this with Lisa Barlow. I'm like, Whitney, Lord. But listen, I'm here for it. So, y'all, that was pretty much part 2 wrapped up. Y'all slide in the comments and let us know what you thought about part 2, what you thought about the whole Mary. It wasn't a whole lot, we were giving Mary her flowers, but what you think about the drama with Angie, Meredith, the guys, what were your thoughts? Looking forward to part 3. Any closing thoughts, Joey?
No, I mean, I'm anxious for part 3, although I'm really sad. We keep talking about that. I mean, Salt Lake City is over.
I know.
So I'm kind of what are we left with?
I know.
Beverly Hills. I mean, Beverly Hills is good, but it's not great like Salt Lake,
Right. It's good. It's not great. I agree with you.
Potomac is ending. Thank God, put us out of our misery.
Now that you say that, I need to get your take on this trailer, because I was on the fence with Karen not showing up, and now I am going to be tuning in. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, I feel like Potomac, good season or not, I feel like when Potomac sits down at a reunion, they bring it.
They do.
They are known for an aggressive reunion. I don't think this is going to be any different. Mia Thornton, I don't know how she has any friends. I don't understand. Girl, your time on this show might be over. I really don't. It's bad.
It's bad. Did you see her on Watch What Happens Live with Quad?
No.
Oh, it was Andy. When I say that Andy was so annoyed with Mia and her lying, and Quad even called her out on stuff. I mean, it was like Quad, Andy versus Mia, and Mia was fighting for her life, just trying to climb out of her lies.
And I feel like that's how the reunion's gonna be. Because obviously we know, her lapdog, Jacqueline, isn't gonna be there the whole time to blindly defend her. So, and I feel like a lot of the women have an issue with her. So I just feel like that's gonna be huge. I think it's a little bit sad that Karen's not going to be there, because that just leaves the door open to all of them just bashing her without any response. I don't know how that'll be, but I don't know.
We'll see. I heard a fellow content creator that said that they got some tea that Mia storms off the set and doesn't return, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Allegedly.
Well, Mia, you know what? I liked you like last season, but after this season, you can keep on walking.
I agree. Your time is up, ma'am. This was deplorable this season. You everything you tried just did not work for you. It worked completely against you. And honestly, I think it's time for you to go do something else.
Yeah. And then we have what? We're just holding on for Atlanta, which...
Did you like the trailer?
Not really, if I'm being honest. I mean, you're putting a lot of eggs in Portia's basket to hold up like a whole show by herself.
I know.
I'm not very hopeful for Atlanta.
I know.
We have to eventually be coming up to Miami, which I am, fingers crossed. It's my favorite franchise out right now. I love Miami. I just don't know how it's going to be without Dr. Nicole.
I know.
She is probably in my top 5 of all time. No one's going to be able to fill her shoes.
No, and then like, who's Alexa gonna hate on, and Marsau? Who are they gonna hate on? I mean, with no Dr. Nicole here. I mean,
maybe they'll go back to hating Adriana. I hear that Adriana and them are getting along. So
I know. So listen, I'm here for it though. I can't wait. Because it looks like that's going to be a good one. That looks like some
Miami always delivers.
Yes. So yeah, guys. So there's that. So y'all also slide in the comments and let us know what you thought about the trailers for the reunion for Real Housewives of Potomac. Are y'all going to be watching? What are your thoughts on Real Housewives of Atlanta? Did the trailer give y'all enough that you want to see? I mean, it was a decent trailer. My biggest concern is trailers usually highlight some of the best bits of drama that we can hope for, and I didn't see a lot.
No.
I didn't see a whole lot going on there. It was cute. It was a cute little intro, whatever, but I just didn't see a whole lot of meat there.
Right. And once again, though, like, I will continue to watch because I'm too invested to stop now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, they'll have my view, I guess, but...
Mine too.
You know what, though? I'm going to stay hopeful, though.
Yeah, let's stay hopeful. I mean, look, I loved Atlanta. I want to see them come back. Sweet 16, let's give it a shot and we see what it gives.
You know, they just need to bite their tongue and take one for the team and bring back Nene Leakes, and all will be solved.
Yes.
She is she's one of the greatest of all time. I don't know why we keep fighting this.
Yes.
You know, do you want ratings or not?
Amen. I agree. Bring back Nene. Yes.
Yes, 100% bring back Nene.
100%. I agree. Well, guys, that's what we have for you tonight. As always, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and like this video and share with the masses. And don't forget, hit the notification bell so when we pop on here, you'll be the first to know. All right, guys. With that, I'm going to say good night. See you next time.
Bye.